Make that 7 straight wins, Mets fans. How's it going, everybody? Thank you guys so much for chiming in for the latest Mets post-game show here on WardyNYM, as I'll be breaking down, giving my initial raw reactions to the latest Mets W. Here, 7 straight now, and the series opener in DC against the Washington Nationals. Mad Max on the bump didn't have his best stuff tonight, but was Max done every single time he's on the mound. He absolutely shoves and gives you a bona fide 6, 7, or even 8 really strong innings, no more than 2 or 3 runs top. But that was on full display tonight. The Mets had the offense when they needed. They jumped on Patrick Corbin. He didn't stay in this game long, and they jumped on that Nationals bullpen and that Cishek, who drives me nuts. Remember when Cishek drilled Lindor in the head? I was at that game. Coincidentally enough, that was Max's debut as a New York Met in DC. I was there live a couple rows away from the field. I was losing my mind then. I'm sure Lindor was a little pissed off to see Marte get drilled there later in this one. So he takes Cishek deep for that absolutely monstrous 3-run, kind of, middle to opposite field home run there to increase the Mets lead 7-3 at that point. But before I get into anything more about the game and see more of your reactions here in the live show, guys, let's spam those W's in the chat for you boys. Really, really do appreciate that. Another day, another night, another Mets W, guys. We already went live earlier today for upwards of 2 hours on all the latest trade news and rumors. There are some things I would like to discuss with you guys before the end of tonight's show. I will also, guys, this will be upwards. I'm thinking we're going to go around 45 minutes to an hour tonight. There will be no live callers that we're taking here on YouTube. Going to be honest, being under the lights has not been fun for me today just because I've been under it the entirety of the day. So I'm actually going to probably do a Twitter Spaces after I'm live here on the channel. So if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, make sure you do at WardyNYM. If you guys want to call in and actually share your thoughts about the Mets and all the latest trade rumors there, by all means, go ahead and do that. I'm not guaranteed to do that, but I'm pretty sure as long as I feel well enough. And, of course, if any breaking news happens during the show or after the show tonight, I'll pound a Red Bull or something. I'll wake up some more, and then we'll discuss that move when it happens. At this juncture, though, it feels like if the Mets are going to make a move, not if, but when they are going to make a moves, I should say, it's all going to be tomorrow, the day of the deadline, until proven otherwise. But we got a lot of deep dive. Another big win for this Mets team. I'm very happy, and I'm not concerned at all regarding the Mets as to what they're going to do regarding the trade deadline. But, of course, if you guys have your concerns and you want to share them with me, that's fine. We'll talk. We'll do some discourse back and forth. Again, there's a reason why Contreras, JD Martinez, all the guys that the Mets are currently seeking and going after are still available on the market. The only exception is Christian Vasquez. He went to the Astros, which was kind of nuts. He got traded during BP while at Minute Maid Park earlier today against Houston. Ended up going from being with the Red Sox to then switching dugouts before the game started. That was absolutely insane. But Vasquez, the Mets have now shown interest in Omar Narvaez. They've been linked to Sean Murphy as well. Sean Murphy's better than, that being in Vasquez in a lot of ways is controllable, which would be more expensive, so I don't see the Mets landing him. But he is, again, a nice home run power bat, is phenomenal defensively, something that Vasquez truly is not. And again, I do believe that the Mets' main focus right now is Wilson Contreras, David Robertson, Andrew Chafin, JD Martinez. Any of those two scenarios, really, I could foresee happening for the Mets over the next 24 hours. But like I said, let's talk about this Mets game before we break down more in the trade rumors and stuff of that nature, guys. To everyone here in the live show, do me a favor and continue smashing that like and subscribe button. Greatly appreciate it. Help us get to 100 likes for the first short-term goal and help us get to 17K subs, guys. It looks like we're right around 300 subs away already. You guys are the absolute best. We're trying to get to 20K in the next couple months. Be greatly appreciated. Thank you guys all so much in advance. It really does mean the world to me. We've been pumping out content left and right. I'll be live tomorrow for an extended period of time. Don't be surprised at all, folks, if you see me live for upwards of 4 or 5 hours tomorrow, just for trade deadline content. And then, of course, you have everything after that, which is Jacob deGrom starting, him back in this rotation for the first time in over a year. And then we'll be doing a post-game show after that game concludes in Game 2 of the 3-game set against these Nationals, guys. I did see Pablo Lopez might go to the Dodgers, and that's fine. The Mets have beaten up on Lopez a bunch of times this year. I'd expect them to do the exact same, even if he lands in LA. But let's talk about this Mets game. Let's talk about this Mets win, because the Mets, they had a little bit of a bad funding situation happen early on. Starling Marte, who's known for his strong defense and right, today it was a little fluky. Juan Soto had a great day at the plate. Got a walk, got a home run, got like 3 walks on the day. Had Mad Max's number for sure. However, Josh Bell was really what ended up becoming a little bit of an issue. Well, Soto gets a walk. his first of 3 on the night that we saw there in the first, folks. Josh Bell comes in. Josh Bell rips an RBI double down the first baseline, and normally this is something that shouldn't have led to a run. Soto isn't known for his speed. He's looking like a little old man on the base pass there. He's average at best on speed. Soto is not that quick, not nearly as quick as maybe you'd expect him to be. No less, instead of Marte potentially throwing to a cutoff man to go home, he threw because of the shift all the way to short, and that led Soto to just continue rounding the bases. He never stopped. He gets home with ease, and just like that, Max Scherzer somehow, some way surrenders a run before the Mets even get a chance here to actually score some. It was kind of baffling. The Mets won 1-2-3 against Corbin in the first, but that wouldn't last long because we get to the second inning and Patrick Corbin showed his true colors for a man that has just under a 7 ERA on the year. Corbin's final line was 4 earned runs of 4 innings, including 7 hits. And this started with a Pete Alonso walk that we saw in the second inning. Mark Canha would come in with a nice base knock. Canha has owned Patrick Corbin, has like a 500 average against this guy in his career. Entering today's game and continue that, Mark Canha raked. Let's not forget the first series of the season, folks, which was in DC. Mark Canha hit like a ridiculous amount every single game that he played in that series. Jeff McNeil had himself an RBI single. McHit stays to be productive and consistent. McNeil, who's in my Warriors top 5 today, yes, 2 for 3 with an RBI to run scored. McNeil has 3 straight consecutive games with at least 2 hits, guys. He's back in the groove, and he's continuing this positive production, not just in the late July, but now at the beginning of August for the Mets' best contact hitter. After McNeil gets himself that nice RBI base knock with 2 outs, no less, they would continue to roll. Tomas Nido with nice, a little bit of a bloop, a flare opposite field RBI single would bring in another run, and just like that, the Mets already have themselves an easy 2-1 lead, and it would continue. Brandon Nimmo with an infield single, originally called out, but of course he was saved by a whole foot. Buck Showalter challenges that bad boy every day of the week. Buck, he's done phenomenal challenges. The Mets are far and away the most superior team in baseball when challenging literally anything this season. And it's funny, when you looked at the officiating for the Nationals, it was absolutely atrocious today. Their first base official had absolutely no idea what he was doing. He was making poor calls left and right, and it was awfully similar, honestly, at the beginning of the season when I was in attendance there for Scherzer's debut in DC. It was piss poor officiating then, it's piss poor officiating now. I guess that's just the nature of the game, right? However, Starling Marte, who didn't have that good throw in the first, again, I don't know how much you want to blame on him. Maybe it was just a bad throwing error. They gave the error to him, so I guess, yes, it's to him. But the shift was a little bizarre. No less, Marte would make up for his error there in the second inning by getting himself a nice RBI opposite field base knock. This could have led to 2 runs. However, Tomas Nido was drilled out at home, and the Mets would end the second inning, however, already with a 3-1 lead. So we advance forward, folks, in the third inning. Pete Alonso doing exactly what he did against the Yankees in the Subway Series, and that was a line drive home run. Just got over, huge exit velo, in and out like no tomorrow. And Pete Alonso, just like that, already is getting north of 30 bombs on the season already, when we still have a couple months of the year to play. He's now up to 86 87 RBIs, if I'm not mistaken. Alonso had a phenomenal day at the plate. You'll love to see that. Definitely took advantage of Corbin and the bullpen from the Nationals later in this one. We advance forward, folks, to the fourth inning. Juan Soto, and many speculating this may be his last game as a Washington National. The Cardinals are going heavy in on Juan Soto right now, as they actually just acquired Jose Quintana, the veteran left-hander from the Pittsburgh Pirates, over the past hour at the time recording this. They're not done making moves. They're going heavy in on him. The Padres and the Dodgers, respectively, are doing the exact same thing. So with a lot of assumption that Soto, the generational talent that he is, may find himself out of DC or this next day, this may be his final game in DC. What does he do? He hits himself a no-doubt bomb right around dead center off of his former teammate, now foe, and Mad Max Scherzer. That makes it a 1-run ball game at that point, folks. Thankfully, it wouldn't get much worse from there. However, it was a big bomb by Soto, then a Cesar Hernandez single, a Nelson Cruz single, and a Garcia RBI single, folks. So just like that, the Nationals, after the Mets were leading 4-1, make this a 1-run ball game. And it would stay this way up until we get to the 6th inning, everybody. I mean, prior to that, Alonso had another nice at-bat. It didn't lead to any runs, but Alonso had himself a big double. Alonso looked phenomenal. Like I said, I loved everything that I saw from him against the Nationals tonight. But in the 6th inning, Brandon Nimmo, a 4-hit game for Brandon. You take that to the bank, baby. He gets himself his one and only extra base hit tonight in the 6th, a nice double. Starling Marte gets a brutal hit by pitch. Looks like he was up on the hand by Cishek. Again, that sidearm schmuck. That was the same guy that ended up hitting Lindor in the head when I was in attendance to begin the season in DC. No less, Marte ended up getting hit on the wrist, was in some clear agony and pain. However, he would bounce out of that, and he is okay. He stays in the game. Francisco Lindor, who thrives, just phenomenal against pitchers that like to stay low in the zone, especially batting from the left side of the plate, where he's had more success on the right side, even though he has done better from the right side of the plate as of late. I will give him credit for that. Lindor takes, as we discussed in the beginning of the show, a 3-run bomb. Nice little opposite field, dead center, kind of to the left, and that increases the Mets' lead by 4 runs, 7-3, and the Mets would never look back. They would cruise from there. Alonso would get a walk after that. However, that would end the inning. The Mets would do no more damage. Mark Hanna with an infield single in the 7th. And if you're wondering why does that mean anything, considering the Mets didn't score in the 7th, they wouldn't score for the remainder of the game. Neither would the Nationals here. The Mets would shut things down after Scherzer went 6.2 strong, being a bulldog that he is. 3 runs, 2 earned. Again, 105 pitches. That's a 2.13 ERA on the year through 14 or so starts as a New York Met. Talking about chef's kiss, we love Mad Max. He has been truly something special for this team every single time he's on the bump. Joely Rodriguez has a scoreless inning. He had a walk, but he went scoreless. I guess there is a God after all. Adam Ottavino won 1.1 scoreless to come and close in this one in the non-save situation. But going back to Cannon in the 7th inning, why was it important about that infield single? That was the 131st infield single the Mets have had this year, and that is far and away the most in baseball this year. So for all the schmuck Braves, for all the schmuck Phillies, for all the schmuck Yanks, any type of fandom that is in the Mets that think, oh, this isn't sustainable. You can't get away with this soft contact. You can't get away with hustling down the line. I'm sorry. It's almost like the Mets are just really, really good at baseball. Even if they don't get the best contact on the baseball, they hustle their asses off. And hey, small ball is huge. It leads to success. It leads to wins. And that type of small ball can be X factors for you in winning a tight ball game. And that's what the Mets have done more impressively than any other team that baseball has to offer right now. So Canna, that's why I felt that infield single was important. It was 1 of 2 that the Mets had on the night at minimum. You saw Canna there, and you also saw Brandon Nimmo hustling down the line. So, yeah, I love the Mets hustling down the line. I love that this entire lineup does the exact same thing. It's definitely enticing. Okay, I do see some donations, guys. Let me check them right now, and then we are going to continue on with everything about this Mets game, about the victory. And, yeah, I did want to see something right now. Hold on, guys. Okay, someone said, let's see here. Jaden, thank you so much for a $2 donation. Hype in the chat to Jaden. Let's get some W's in the chat for Jaden. Appreciate that. He says, check Martino's tweet. I'll get to the other donations in a second, guys. He says, the bullpen market is popping right now. The DH market, not so much. Right after Mets postgame, I'll have a full update on the team's trade deadline activity tonight, plus Yankees talk. So whatever Martino said, let me know, guys, in the show. He has me blocked on Twitter. Why? Because he's the biggest clown show. And that's saying a lot for being a big clown show in a market like New York. But, you know, he's definitely still in a class of his own somehow, which, again, is more than I could begin to tell you. But, yeah, let me know, guys, if you get Martino updates here in the show. Let's see here. Another donation from Rossi says, I'm in Disney with my kids and constantly checking Twitter. Just make a deal so I can enjoy my vacation. John, enjoy your vacation, because here's the thing, John. The beauty of it, John, is that at least you're not doing this for a living the way that I am, where I have to be covering everything left and right. You don't have to cover anything. You're just a fan watching to see what happens. Don't worry. Put your phone down. If anything, John, you'll have a pleasant surprise when you check your phone if you take a little bit of a break, because the Mets will make moves over the next 24 hours from now up until the 6 p.m. trade deadline tomorrow. No less, I appreciate that donation a lot, my friend. Enjoy Disney with your family. You deserve it. Have a nice break. Take a load off. Don't let the Mets get in the way. I know it's not easy. I know I'm a hypocrite because I let the Mets get in the way of my vacation and everything I do, but there's good a reason for that at the same time. Let's see. Jaden with the $2 donation. Thank you, Jaden. We need to go all in. Blow the farm. Keep top 2. Not going to happen, Jaden. Appreciate the donation. Last thing you're going to see the Mets do is blow the farm. They're finally starting to build it as something special. They're not going to give it all away for rentals. If they're going to blow the farm, it's for a Juan Soto or Shohei Ohtani. 2 things that are not happening for the Mets at this juncture. Let's get to our next comment here. Rob, thank you so much for that, Rob. Rob says, I'll be at the game tomorrow night behind the Mets dugout. Phenomenal. I'll be taking vids of Jake tossing his pregame warm-ups. Awesome. Rob, if you're on Twitter, make sure to post them. Send them to me. I would love to check them out. I know there's going to be a lot of people at the game tomorrow. I would have been there. I 1,000% would have been at tomorrow's game. However, it is the trade deadline. I'm not going to be able to make that trip in time. I will be in DC for the series finale. However, the day after Well, the Mets have some new guys on the roster, so that's going to be exciting. Make sure to check me out. Look for the short schmuck, probably with the same hat on, and some nice Mets jersey or one of my Mets jerseys that says WardyNYM on the back. Just look out for something. I'll be there for that 4 p.m. start. Chris Bassett on the bump against Anibal Sanchez. Rob, thank you so much for that dono. I appreciate that. Let's see, JV with the 250 donation. JV, I have no clue what this equates to in USD. Not that it matters, but I don't even know what that P stands for. So I apologize. But no less, I do appreciate the donation. Hype in the chat to you. Best wishes to Jankowski in Seattle from the Philippines. Oh, okay, so it's Filipino money. I understand that. LFGM Worry, thank you so much, JV. I appreciate that. Can someone tell me what that equates to? Because I genuinely have no idea. I mean, if it's not USD, I mean, you lost me. I apologize. I'm not out of the country at all. So like, I wouldn't know. Ev, thank you so much for that donation again, though. Evan says, as presently constructed, can the Mets win the World Series if they don't make another move? I think the Mets certainly can be a World Series contender this year, with Jake being a heavy factor as of why, 1,000%. However, the Mets know that they need to add more to the bullpen. They know that they would like to add more to either the backstop and or DH position. I expect them to address all those areas of need. So either way, I think they're going to come out in a very good spot. But yes, their odds are far greater when it comes to championship-wise with making some moves to the holes that they still have in their lineup versus not addressing it at all. So to answer that one. Oh, so it's around $5 USD? Awesome. Thank you that. And thank you so much for that $5 donation, Evan. Appreciate you kindly. Hold on, guys. Let me see what other donations you got for me in the chat quick. Normally, I don't do donos until after I cut things off for people on replay, but we're changing it up tonight. I know you guys are beyond generous as always, and I appreciate that a lot. So let's get into Wardy's top 5, guys, about this Mets game. The 7-3 victory. Mad Max, again, he shoves 6.2 strong. Why? Because he's a Bulldog. Sounds like he did ends, and why? Lindor is my number 1 star for the sole reason that he stepped the hell up after Marte got hit. Now, when you look at Lindor's at bats today, they weren't all the prettiest. However, I appreciate the fact that Lindor, as they said, SNY broadcast have the nail on the head. This is a phenomenal matchup for Lindor. Again, Lindor, I'm pretty sure the last time he's faced C-Check or close to it was when he got hit in the head at the beginning of the year. So there was definitely some redemption vibes going on, and you saw that on full display when he barreled that bad boy for a 3-run home run. So for that reason, with Lindor being red hot right now, he's less than 10 RBIs away from tying Jose Reyes' team record for the most RBIs in franchise history by a shortstop. The record to beat is 81. Lindor is at 73, and it's August 1st. So if I'm going to go on a limb, I think Lindor is going to pass that and then some. Francisco's on a 100-plus RBI pace this year, 25-plus bomb RBI home run pace. How many bombs does Lindor have this year? Like 18? You know, he has a good amount. So, yeah, I'm very happy with what they're doing. 100% shot of you, Francisco. My number 2 star, I'm going to go with Alonso. Alonso, I thought, looked absolutely brilliant at the plate. He looked unfazed this entire day. The one out that he had was a really deep fly ball that wasn't far from being a home run. So Alonso goes 2 for 3 with the home run, the double, the RBI, the 2 runs scored, and the 2 walks. Great plate discipline. Thank you for that, Pete. And my number 3 star is Brandon Nimmo. I would have put Brandon Nimmo at 1 if he had a couple RBIs because he had a 4-hit game. However, he didn't get there, so it's like potato. I have him at 3 here, however. 4 for 5 with the double and the runs scored. Again, big day for Nimmo. Hopefully that's a nice confidence booster for him because 4-hit games are hard to come by. You're not going to see them happen often, and I'm very happy that Nimmo was able to provide such offense. Max Scherzer is my number 4 star just because, again, Max, even when he doesn't have his best stuff, even when he was getting squeezed by the ump because they weren't giving him a lot of calls, he was still able to grind things out for roughly 7 innings, just 1 out away from 7, and only surrendering 2 earned runs, 3 runs total. But again, that first run was because of the throwing error by Marte back in the bottom of the first. And my number 5 star is going to be Jeff McNeil, 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. 3 consecutive games for McHits, having at least a multi-hit game. So Jeff, love that this entire Mets lineup stepped up big. Another guy that would have made probably my top 5 if the Mets didn't have as much offense today, it has to be Adam Ottavino. Adam coming in again, didn't even have his best stuff there in the 9th, got the job done, 1.1 scoreless in the non-save situation for the Mets, going from the 8th to the 9th inning with this strikeout. Mets going through the lineup. Starling Marte had a solid day, not a phenomenal day at the plate, but he was okay. 1 for 4 with a run scored and an RBI. Would have had 2 RBIs if Nito didn't get caught out there at home in the 2nd. Lindor, we talked about him. JD Davis over 2. JD, I'm tired of JD swinging right through the dick on fastballs. With all due respect, I hope that this is the last time I see JD Davis in the Mets uniform. I'm fed up. I can't stand. The Mets literally had JD in the 4 spot today because he rakes notoriously Corbin in his career, but he hasn't even been able to do that this season. That's how you know how piss poor of a launch angle JD Davis has right now. If your launch angle is going to continue to be this bad all year long, I'm sorry. Your max exit velo, your XWOBA, all these fun 90+ percentiles, red circles on Baseball Savant is only going to take you so far if you don't know how to freaking lift the baseball if it saved your life. So, JD, I'm sorry. I'm done with you. I'm fed up. And I do genuinely hope that the Mets have a replacement for you starting tomorrow. Daniel Vogelbach, however, came in a pinch hit. Did not get a hit today, but in his first at-bat, Vogie does what he does best, and that's by getting on base. Vogelbach has now been on base 13 or 14 times now out of 26 plate appearances. We take that to the bank. Vogie's been an on-base god. He's definitely been a blessing in disguise for the Mets since he was acquired from the Pittsburgh Pirates and, of course, return for Colin Holderman. Mark Canha had a sneaky good day at the plate. Canha has owned Corbin this year, has owned the Nationals this year, probably better than any other Met, or at least close to. Canha rather, 2 for 5 with the runs scored. Eddie Escobar 0 for 4, but, this was a day where even though that Eddie did nothing, it's not like it mattered. Okay, we live with it. Tomas Nido had a nice day at the plate, 1 for 4 with that bloop RBI. Nido and runners in scoring position, that is a good matchup. Even though that Nido's numbers aren't pretty, he definitely does step up his game when it matters most in runners in scoring position. And as a fan of a Mets team that hasn't had much production at all from their catching positions, I surely do appreciate that. Again, Joely, Adam, Scherzer, they all got the job done in the end for the Mets, even when they weren't their prettiest. But guys, I really don't think there's too much more that needs to be said about this game, in my opinion. This was definitely a strong game for the Mets to win. I'm glad that they did. But other than that, guys, what is your biggest takeaway from tonight's win for the Mets? Who was your favorite player? Let me see. Who was your favorite performance from tonight's win? Let me hear it, guys. And as always, continue smashing that like and subscribe button. I do greatly appreciate it. And thank you all so much in advance. I'll actually put a poll in the chat right now, folks, to see because I feel like there might be different opinions on this. Let me go ahead and do right that, guys. And guys, we're halfway to 300 likes. We're getting close to 150 in the show. Thank you so much for that. Continue smashing that like and subscribe button. Like I said, we're trying to get a 300 by the end of the live show. So thank you so much in advance. But let me get a poll up to see who your favorite player from tonight was. Ed wants a trade to happen. Trust me, guys, I want moves to happen too. I'm 1,000% certain they will happen. You have to understand the market, and I really do think that as much as it pains us, Soto is holding things up, because if the Padres don't land Soto, I think they're going to drastically overpay for Contreras and Happ or Contreras and Robertson. So in that scenario, then the Mets would have to give their entire focus to JD Martinez for a Chaim Bloom, who came out today for the Red Sox and said that they are still pushing for playoffs, regardless of the fact that they traded Vasquez. He said the only guys that are not available in trade right now are Devers and Xander Bogaerts, but he cannot say anyone else's names wouldn't be dealt. He said, we'll just have to wait and see what the next 20+ hours have in store. So I think Martinez very well can and still will be dealt, for the sole fact of they parted ways with Vasquez and downgraded when they're pushing for playoffs, because Chaim doesn't have an issue with parting ways with veteran rentals that he knows he's not going to bring back, and acquires guys like young prospects or some young controllable assets. That's why they like Dom Smith so much. So I still feel that there's a great chance that JD Martinez will be traded tomorrow, regardless on if it's to the Mets or not. I do think it's going to happen. But let me ask you guys a poll right now, who your biggest player, your biggest takeaway was, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, we're getting the poll up in the chat. Thank you so much for getting close to 200 likes already. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you, everybody. Really, really appreciate you all. I can already tell that tomorrow's going to hit me like a truck, guys. I'm going to be exhausted. I'm tired right now, but I do kind of want to do a Twitter Spaces. So, yeah, like I said, guys, we'll probably wrap up the show. I would imagine like 40 to 45 minutes in. We're not going to be doing a drastically long show tonight. But what I will say is, again, if you guys want to check me out, I do intend, as of now, on doing a Twitter Spaces for probably at minimum upwards of an hour on WardyNYM. It'll just be labeled. If you follow me, you'll see it'll probably say, late night Mets trade talk, or Mets trade rumor talk, Mets deadline talk, chime in. If you want to call in, great. I'll answer whatever questions you got for me. I know you guys like to call in. It's not as easy doing it over YouTube as it is over Twitter per se with spaces. So I think that's something that I'm going to do tonight, as long as I'm feeling up for it. So yeah, make sure to follow me at WardyNYM again. And before we get to that, I do see some more donations I want to address them. But for everyone watching here in the live show, guys, again, continue to let me know in the poll right now, what was your biggest takeaway from tonight's win? But for people on replay, this is where I'll be cutting things off. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, how you feel about the Mets' 7-3 victory, winning 7 straight games overall. Normally, I'd be screaming my head off, but again, it's the Nationals. And 2, I'm a little tired tonight, as you can tell. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling chill. And more than anything, what is the biggest move that you want to see the Mets make by 6 p.m. tomorrow, that being the trade deadline? Let me know it all in the comments below. People in the live chat, let's get more of your comments, questions, and concerns. But people on replay, this is where I'm cutting things off.